So I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this, and it's been disturbing me. So recently, Cardi B did like a rant or a video or something of that nature where she admitted to drugging and robbing men in the past. So we all know that she's an ex stripper. We know, how that profession kind of is and the kind of things that people may or may not get into, when they're in that type of profession. Now, my problem really is that, I'm surprised that the Me Too movement or nobody has, toed her yet. Like it's interesting, that, like for example, you had the woman who, was trying to become one of the forefront leaders of the Me Too movement where it came out that she was sleeping with an underage boy while, and that story all but disappeared. Like you don't even hear them talking about that anymore. It's still all about Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and so forth and so on. So here you have, a rapper who's at the top right now, who admitted to drugging and robbing men in the past, like and some people are speculating, well, is that all that she could have, or she done, like if you would have the audacity to drug and then rob someone. So she was soliciting, these men for sex, and I guess she would invite them over, go to their place, and then she would drug them and then rob them and take the money or whatever they have, and not give them the sex or whatever. And again, she was an ex, stripper. Some say prostitute, allegedly. I don't know how true that is. I'm not going to just say that, it's true because I don't know. But allegedly, she was also a prostitute. But we do know for a fact that she was a stripper. And I don't like this hypocrisy and this double sided, Me Too movement. Like here you have a woman who just admitted to drugging and robbing men, and nobody's upset about that. Nobody's going to wave the finger in her face. Nobody's going to talk down to her like they did to all the black men. And again, this is not, when we do these things, it's not that we're in defense of these men. It's just that we're in defense of, the black man's legacy and also the black man's image. And we're not going to allow society and the media to paint and demonize black men again with this whole rape culture. They had that, they did like literally the first movie in Hollywood, the start of Hollywood, the big boom of Hollywood was the propaganda movie where it basically painted black men as rapists. So you got to really, know the history to keep things perspective and keep certain things from re-happening, especially the damage, that could be done to the black image. And, I don't care what nobody say because she's even said it herself, Cardi B is not black. And I bet you now, that this has come out now that she done slipped up and fucked up and said some real dumb shit. Now they're just gonna start paying and pulling her, oh, look what this black person said and da 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 da. And I really do have an issue because I really expected the Me Too movement to jump on this. Like you don't know how far she may have taken it. She could have gotten men raped. She could have gotten men killed. She could have been one of those, women who set, dudes up to have them killed. Like if you're from inner city neighborhoods in like New York, Philadelphia, any of like the tri-state, like the, inner city neighborhood, this is kind of like a conversation for us. We know how some shit gets down, and we know how there are certain people who ain't shit, ain't worth shit, and they will do some shit for the bag. And what do we know Cardi B as for being? She's the chick that is known to do anything for the bag. So if you just sat up here and admitted to drugging and robbing men, who knows what else she's done? Who knows how far she have taken that? She probably very well allegedly could have, been setting niggas up to be killed as well. Like you just don't know. So you might have bodies of blood on her hands, and she talk, she's always, talking about how she's a blood and she's, she's down with gangs and this, that, and the third. And does she have blood on her hands? Like, I feel like, who was her publicist? What is her team? Like, I don't. That's why like they were saying this was a rant, and it just came out. But it's like, why would you even say some shit like that? Why would you admit to something like that? Like, it's certain things you just don't say. And a lot of people don't have media training, unfortunately. Even though I don't really agree with media training because I feel like that's like MK Ultra shit. Like when you train somebody to act and say or do certain things like this bullshit, you should just be allowed to be you. You know, especially if you're an adult. I can see if you're a kid and you might need somebody over top of you to make sure you don't ruin your image as a child. But when you're an adult, you should be able to make your own decisions on how your shit is ran. But I'm very interested to see how the Me Too movement handles this. I'm interested to see how other black men handle this. I'm interested because there are a couple people talking about it. The first video I watched was the guy JD Black. If you haven't seen this video, check it out. I'm gonna put the description link in the box because he goes kind of deeper into it and gives a real thorough opinion on it. I just wanted to bring it up to say and kind of basically put the hypocrisy of the Me Too movement, and to the forefront, because people keep trying to make it seem like we're crazy and we just don't care about victims, but that's not the case. We just understand what the shit is, and what's really going on. So again, your favorite non rhyme writing MC Cardi B just admitted to drugging and getting men robbed. Nicki Minaj has never said no shit like that. Nicki Minaj has never, like, just saying. I've never heard Foxy Brown say nothing like that. I've never heard Nicki Minaj, Lil Kim, nobody. I mean, Me Too movement, where you at? And I wonder, now that she admitted this, I wonder if some men who may remember her or remember her face or something like that will come forth and be like, I remember that chick, or da 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 da. But then again, if they were drugged, they might not remember her face all too well. And then now she got her teeth fixed and all this, so she kind of looks different. And then I'm assuming that this was the before the fame and everything, because there's no way somebody would be setting people up, you know, to elicit fake sex for money when you're not actually gonna do it. You just want to rob them. Nobody's doing that shit. If you were top rapper, so I mean, Me Too movement, where you at? I'm waiting for the outrage. It seems as though as if only if it's a man, and specifically a black man, has been rumored, or it came out that he did something, that's when people want to jump. But nobody has yet to jump on Cardi B. Like I said, I've seen a few videos of people talking about it, but I have very yet to see people really digging her ass like they've done everybody else. And I'm ready to dig into your ass, Cardi, because I already don't like you. You're a disrespect to hip hop. You're a disrespect to black women's hip hop. You are not a black woman. You are a culture vulturing. You know, you don't write your own rhymes. You don't respect, the legends, because if you did, you wouldn't be, God knows you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. So, and again, like I agree with the Zoe Banks said, like she's a caricature of a black woman. If your average everyday girl, like think about, your cousin, your auntie that, what people call them, ghetto, or they're too hyper, they're too much or too extra. I got a couple of those cousins, which I love to death. I never see them as extra. I just see them as, ladies being them, black women being themselves. Well, a version of themselves. But here you have, a Latino being a caricature of a black woman and is profiting off of that, as well as profiting off of the hip hop culture. And all of this is black culture, in which is she is not, which is something she admitted to herself, even though, from her look, you can tell that, she has a couple different things mixed in her. And if you are mixed, you cannot just say you're black, because if that's the case, then what am I? You know? So, fuck out of here, cancel Cardi B, I guess. We were ready to cancel Just Hilarious and everybody else. I'm ready for the cancel hashtag. I'm ready for the Cardi B is over party. And, why are we not canceling her? What's going on? But, the guy JD in his video, he was saying how, you can see in the comments, he was reading some comments where people were defending and deflecting, and that's a shame. That's a shame, because if a man said, if a male rapper, like, for example, and this guy, like, if Kendrick Lamar slipped up and said, oh, back in the day, I used to, set women up, drug them and rob them. And he would lose every fucking thing. They would go for the women's rights, the women's movement, the feminist movement, the Me Too movement. Everybody would be going for his head. They would be, he would be done. There would be like complete outrage. That shit would probably be on the news. But because Cardi B said it, it seems to be quietly being, pushed off. Like I said, just like the woman who, was one of the leads of the Me Too movement with Rose McGowan, and then it came out that she was molesting a young boy, when he was underage. So again, what are we doing, Me Too movement? What are we doing?